The end of the season is nearly upon us, and that can only mean one thing. No, not the World Cup. I mean the summer transfer window. Numerous players from across the globe will be hoping that they have done enough this season to put themselves in the shop window, dreaming of a move to a bigger club, a better league, and if we're honest, heaps upon heaps of cash. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands of footballers who will feel that they ought to be at a better club next season. But we have selected just 7 to look at today who may well be on the move come July. Here are our 7 players who deserve big moves this summer. Andrea Belotti, Torino. A slightly unusual inclusion in this 7 perhaps, since one might think that if Andrea Belotti was going to move away from Torino, it would have been last summer rather than the one coming up. The Italian international scored 28 goals in 38 games last season, with only Edin Dzeko and Dries Mertens scoring more in Serie A. He has been linked with moves to Manchester United and AC Milan, but Torino's €100 million valuation has so far been enough to put clubs off. Belotti has been less prolific this season, with 12 goals from 27 games, but his overall record at Torino is better than a goal every other game, and we think he's simply too good for Serie A's 10th place side. PHILIPP Max, Augsburg. Bayern Munich may live to rue letting PHILIPP Max leave the club for Schalke as a 16-year-old. Similarly, Schalke may well regret also having sold him 4 years later. Now playing in the Bundesliga for Augsburg, only Kevin De Bruyne and Neymar have more assists than Max in Europe's top 5 leagues so far this season. The 24-year-old left-back is quick, tireless, and is capable of putting fantastic deliveries into the box. Liverpool were reportedly interested in him back in January, but Andy Robertson's form will probably have thwarted their interest. Defensively, Max still has lots of room to improve, but you'd be surprised if one of Europe's big boys didn't make a bid this summer. Karl Toko Ekambi, Angers. Paris-born Cameroon international Karl Toko Ekambi seems to have gone a little under the radar this season, perhaps down to the fact that Ligue 1 is less popular outside of France than the English or Spanish leagues, for example. A quick and direct forward who loves to stretch the opposition defence, Ekambi is 25 years old, and he has scored goals wherever he has been throughout his career. He has bagged 17 in the league so far this season, which is more than Mario Balotelli and Kylian Mbappe, despite the fact he is playing for the 14th place side. Ekambi isn't on big money at Angers, but despite reportedly turning down Brighton last summer, you'd be surprised if he wasn't on the move this time out. Riyad Mahrez, Leicester City. This may seem a bit harsh on Leicester City, who are currently 8th in the Premier League, but we think Riyad Mahrez is potentially a top-class player. From Wilfried Zaha to Xherdan Shaqiri and Ryan Bertrand, a handful of Premier League players made our shortlist for this 7, but it's Mahrez who comes out on top. A really talented and explosive wide man, it was well documented that Mahrez was keen on a £60 million move to Manchester City in January, but the Foxes stood firm. Mahrez returned, and he has hit double figures for both goals and assists in just 32 league appearances. Whether it is City again or one of the other big boys, surely someone will convince Leicester to let go of their star man this summer. Hirving Lozano, PSV. Again, PSV may feel a little disgruntled that one of their players features here. The Eindhoven-based outfit currently enjoy a big lead at the top of the Eredivisie, securing a 3rd league title in 4 years. But the unfortunate fact is, the league simply isn't what it once was. Hirving Lozano, possibly better known as Chucky, has had an exceptional debut season in Holland, but he really needs to prove he can do it in a top league if he is to prove his class. Still only 22, Lozano is quick, clever, creative and clinical. That being said, players ripping it up in Holland only to struggle elsewhere has become all too common in recent years. 16 goals and 8 assists in 27 appearances mean he should attract interest, and it'll be interesting to see how Lozano's career pans out from here. Malcom, Bordeaux. Another player we have long admired at HITC Sevens is Brazilian wide man Malcom. It's worth reminding yourself that the uncapped forward is still only 21, but he is already in his 5th season as a regular first team player. Formerly of Corinthians, Malcom has been with Bordeaux since 2015. He cost the club only £4 million, and they'll be sure to turn an enormous profit on him when he does come to leave the southwest of France. Malcom is quick and tricky, possessing good technique and a cracking long shot. He has 9 goals and 6 assists in Ligue 1 this season, and we don't think 11th place Bordeaux could begrudge him a move in the summer. Quincy Promes, SPARTAK Moscow. Quick and tricky wide players seem to be the flavour of the month, and we've put another player who matches that description in top spot. The form of Dutch international Quincy Promes has received little attention, since very few people outside of Russia tune in to watch the Russian Premier League. Promes has been in outstanding form though, with 20 goals and 9 assists in 34 games from the left flank this season. Having been named as Footballer of the Year in Russia last season, he tops the division scoring charts this season, and has averaged a goal every other game since joining the club in 2014. Now aged 26, we think it's probably time for Promes to wave goodbye to an excellent few years in Russia and take a crack at one of Europe's top leagues. So that's it for the top 7. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC Sevens.